Right you are.
Shuffling G.
Nice.
So, from the 5, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's hello from Bob.
It is, and it's hello from this other bloke.
Hi, my name's Ramon. My name's Ramon. My name is the Goose.
And it being Christmas, what are we all doing? Sharpening our knives and forks because we're going to eat the goose.
He's got some.
Are we going to have some cannibalism live on this show? Not tonight.
So here we are today. What we're going to be doing, Bob, in this video, in case you didn't know,
It's something to do with guitars?
something to.
It's a good
We're
start.
not doing politics. We're not doing any of your fruity stuff that you normally are into. We're concentrating on guitars, and we're gonna. It's a burst versus a Goldtop. P90, 52, 53. This is a 54, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a Goldtop P90 Les Paul versus the classic burst with the PAFs. What's better? If you're thinking about buying, this might relate to new guitars. We've got the real McCoy here. We've got the vintage, which Bob owns. These two beautiful guitars, but you might want to buy some reissues. And which one should you get? This is a question even for myself. Do I need one of these? I've got one of them, like a copy, but do I need one of these, Bob? So we just had a little jam there, and one of the first things I ever got when I was 17, 18, I got a reissue. I think it was called Castle Communications, and it was when CDs started coming out, back in the early 90s. They did all these reissues, the Boston Tea Party, Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
And I got a couple of CDs. One of them was the Boston Tea Party, where you heard Peter Green with the burst, and Danny Kerwin with the P90, although it had the normal bridge.
Like 55, yeah.
Yeah. But also Freddie King, those early cuts of The Stumble and Hideaway, and the song we just played.
Yeah.
And he was on a Goldtop. He was on one of these.
Yeah,
babies.
wraparound Goldtop.
Yeah.
Probably through a tweed out.
Yes, and I always thought that Freddie King, I loved his playing later on. You can see him on YouTube with a 355, right?
Yeah.
With all the gold hardware and stuff. But for me, those early cuts with the Goldtop was amazing.
I agree.
And that was on one of these guitars. Yeah. And you can really hear that kind of tone. Let's just do a little test between the two guitars.
Well, you're on the bridge, okay,
yeah,
so...
on the bridge.
I think, to be fair, I think your amp is probably sounding a bit fatter as well.
Yeah, so obviously we've got the Mystic Blues amps, but they're slightly different. But what you can hear, I think, is a more compressed sound coming from the PAFs.
Yeah.
That'd be correct?
Well, yeah, classic humbucker, whereas these are single coils, so a little more open, a little more dynamic. Yeah.
And so what's your opinion? Well, let's first, because you've owned these guitars for a lot of years.
I have.
What are your opinion about these two guitars?
Well, so this was an ambition since I was a child, teenager, right? And it took me like 40 years to materialise the ambition, okay? So this guitar has a irrational status in my mind.
Right.
Okay. This is much more than a good guitar.
I love it when Bob gets emotional.
This is irrational. This is wanting and saving and working for one of these for 30 years.
This is like the Holy Grail. You're like Sir Lancelot and that's the Excalibur, right?
It is. It's sword in the stone stuff. So I'm psychologically slightly unbalanced by the question. Whereas that guitar I bought later because I really fancied one, and I found a nice one. Actually, when it turned up, I wasn't that impressed with it. The dealer didn't clean it before he sent it to me. It was a bit grubby.
Yeah.
And I opened the case and I thought, oh dear. Cleaned it up and it's scrubbed up beautifully.
It's a beautiful,
absolutely beautiful. It looks incredibly sexy. And actually, I like the look of the carved top with the wraparound.
Yeah, and it's different brown.
Different brown on the back. Yeah, this is much more cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we come back to the sound of
these... But the sound of it, so that guitar has always lived in the shadow of this guitar for me.
Has it?
But then I started taking it out and gigging it. And what's interesting is this guitar, to me, sounds quite good at talking volume.
So at home, when you're playing at home...
And it sounds great at gig volume. That guitar never sounded good to me at talking volume.
Right.
Okay? But when I took it out and gigged, suddenly it would like open up. And I thought, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And funnily enough, the same thing happens with my 1960 TV special.
Right.
That at home is not a very interesting
So we're saying
guitar.
that the P90s really shine on stage. Is that what we're saying?
They like an amp that's wound up a bit. I mean, so do these. Don't get me wrong, but this guitar will come out to play without that. That guitar needs them to come out and play. So when I realised that, suddenly I fell back in love with it. Now,
this is why early Fleetwood Mac is so cool, because you've got Danny Kirwan playing really ferociously on one of these guitars, and his vibrato is really OTT,
really sharp, and also.
And here's another. Let's play a little bit of on the neck here. And I know that Peter Green used the Stratocaster on this song, but we're going to play it because live they would have performed Albatross with two Les Pauls. So let's just see what these sound like together. Which was really nice about Fleetwood Mac is you had the P90s with Danny Kirwan mixed with Peter Green's guitar, so that you could hear that bit of separation, don't you think?
Yeah.
Later
on they both played bursts.
They did, and Danny sold his got rid of his Goldtop. But I think for me, when he had the P90s and like at that gig, the Boston Tea Party gig, you can hear that it's a P90 guitar. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's a P90.
Yeah, I mean they do go well together. It's a bit like your classic thing in the late '60s, early '70s. One player had a Strat, the other a Les Paul. Wishbone Ash, everything, and the combination's fantastic because they just prop each other up and they mesh together really beautifully. Whereas if you got two of these, it all gets a bit muddy.
Yeah.
Although Thin Lizzy.
So guess what would be really cool would be like a Goldtop and a custom, because then you've got even more polar opposites, right?
I guess.
Custom
as long as the custom's been refretted.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you try playing that song with those bends in it. Your hands will be sliding off the plate.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, this versus that. In an ideal world, take out the value, take away all the value and stuff. Which would you prefer?
It's really hard. If you'd asked me 5 years ago, I would have said this hands down.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I'm really not sure. Mm-hmm. I'm really not sure, because that I've had that out a few times. Like I say, like the special I had out last night as well with those P90s, and they sound really good.
Where I think this scores better than a Les Paul is the middle position, because here you've got to. This is something a great guitar player who's actually plays, a good friend of mine who plays for Robert Plant. He has a 52, Justin Adams, and he sometimes, you know, just in between position on a Goldtop. It's just better than a burst.
But there's a different in between position on a burst. Okay, what you do on a burst is you have the neck pickup full on, and you dial back the tone on the bridge pickup, and it sounds slightly nasal and honky and nice. It's different.
It's different. I think.
But you're right. The middle position on P90s can be very, very tasty.
Yeah, and it's just really
glinty.
It's good to do those kind of chordal playing. You know, where you've got to, you know, and you can. It's almost like you know, early Muddy Waters would have been really at home. I mean, he played one of these 52, didn't he? And you can really hear. You know, it's got a great blues sound. Great for that
nice
sort
and
of
rootsy.
Stuff, you know.
Although, I mean, those 52s, I mean, they were famous for several things. First of all, the neck was set in at the wrong angle, too flat, and what that meant, and they had that ridiculous trapeze bridge with the strings wound underneath, so you couldn't put your palm use it.
And I've talked to Justin Adams about that bridge.
Yeah, and you had that, so you had all that stuff going on. But the other thing is that the 52s have a particular reputation as being particularly good wood and well made. So even if the necks are stuck in at the wrong angle, the guitar absolutely rings. Well, they're famous for it.
When I played Justin's, his one was just like a very resonant old piece of wood. But what he said is he's actually, and I think a lot of the guys that play 52s, they've actually worked with the bridge, and you can actually learn how to dampen. It's really hard.
But having said that, nowadays, of course, there is another way, and that is that Mastery have produced a very clever device, which is a flat trapeze bridge. So it actually lies flat on the body, and means that you can play it like this. The nearest thing to a living guitar is an ES225, which has got the same kind of bar trapeze bridge, but the strings wrap over the top. But Mastery, by making it very flat, and they can intone it and everything, it's a very, very clever piece of kit.
That's a nice guitar, the one you mentioned. I mean, that was used by Buddy Holly's guitarist and also Richie Valens.
And George Thorogood.
Yeah. Yep. Great guitar. So Bob, then, the conclusion of this video, we're going to keep this really short and concise, guys, for you. We don't make long videos anymore.
Right? You heard it here first.
Between Bob and I, everything is short, including our fingers. And basically, this guitar here, I mean, I don't know. I'm like I said, I mean, I love burst because of, you know, we're in London, we play the blues, man, and we're in London, and this, you know, the burst's got a lot of history in London, right? So if you're living in London, you like blues music, you got to have a burst, you know, or a copy, whatever. But I don't know. I'm just getting really into these Goldtops, Bob, and the P90s. I just really think they are, you know.
Well, you're right. The only thing I should say, the frets on this are original.
Right.
The frets on that are not, because when I got it, there was very little meat left on the frets.
Right.
And after playing it for a bit, there was actually no meat left at all. Yeah. It was a fretless wonder. It was horrible. So I had Britain's best luthier by several country miles, Bill Puplett. Yeah. I had him refret it, and basically he and I discussed it, and the brief was, if you can make it look like a 54 from the front, but make it look and feel from me, the player at the side, like a 59, and as usual, the job Bill did was...
Yeah, and it does. You can bend. This is a bending machine for sure.
Yeah.
You can really bend with ease on it, you know. Yeah. But it's, you know, it's a sound, and I hope you got something from this, guys. I hope you've you know, taken something. You know, have we taken anything from this video?
Yes,
we have, haven't we?
Yeah, we've learnt that that's on the rise.
That the Goldtops are, you know, not to be, you know, it's not all about the burst. It's not all about the bling and the burst. You know,
absolutely.
You know, so
it's pretty risky taking either of these out to a gig, but with this, frankly, these days it's suicidal. Right. Unless you've got two.
Well, we got a bodyguard.
Two big, Russian minders.
We have some bodyguards for Bob. I mean, even though Bob can actually handle himself, he's a pretty tough guy too.
No, he can't.
He's got.
No, he really can't. I'm not putting myself up online as a London's hard man. Thank you. No.
You've heard of the Cray twins? Well,
yeah. Well, that's nothing like it.
It's one of his mates. So, Bob, can I have your attention for one moment, please? Wouldn't it be nice if there was a guitar in existence which kind of combined a Goldtop, like the P90 thing, and the burst thing?
Wouldn't it?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice?
I mean, I wonder if someone could kind of could make it. Do you think?
I don't know. I'm just going to unplug this for a second, pop it in a stand.
What is he doing?
Well, what am I doing? I don't know. Just
careful of that, you might fall over.
This is a running joke, by the way. I'm still on the yoga ball, and I still haven't fallen off it, but that was probably the closest. But just
that's for he's behind.
On the floor in front of me, as if magically appearing out of a hole in the earth, is this.
So what's this then? What we got here? Oh, hello.
Blimey.
So here we have an interesting instrument. What's this, Bob?
Okay. So it is a flat top, body bulge, cut, whatever you call it, chamfered, Les Paul shape with a Telecaster control layout, 3-way switch.
It's got this stop tail piece, yeah?
Yeah, 3-way switch, stop tail piece, couple of dome knobs, a humbucker, a PAF, a P90.
So we got this is the kind of in the middle. If you want both guitars, this is what you want to have. So if you go to the
okay, that was the neck bridge. So the P90 is kind of warmer. The PAF on the bridge is hotter.
So you could do your soloing on the bridge and then.
And what's the middle like? The middle could be interesting. It's not as glinty as that, but it's not
It's
as
interesting, isn't it?
It's kind of halfway in between. It's pretty nice.
Great.
Isn't it?
So this is a Daniels guitar, right?
This is a Daniels made by our good friend Darren Horton.
Yeah. Darren's been on here, hasn't he? He's been on the
show.
So this is a great.
Fab guitars, lovely guitar, lovely fretwork, lovely neck.
Yeah.
This is a nice piece of gear.
So there you go. If you can't decide a Les Paul or a P90 Les Paul or a humbucker, then this is what you need to have.
Best of both, and also this is a very modern take. This is beautifully, this cutaway is all smoothed in and stuff. It's really very organic. It's a beautiful piece of work. It's very comfortable guitar.
There you go.
I bet this would gig sweet.
There you go. Okay, then that's it for today's show. Hope you've enjoyed this and you've taken something from it. Even if you think you may need a yoga ball to tighten up your ass cheeks, that might be all you want to take from this video.
Are you saying my ass cheeks are tight?
No, I'm saying you're trying to get them tight.
You can't get out of that. Oh, woof.
So, it's been great. God bless you all. Happy Christmas, whatever. From me, Goose, and from him.
And from him, Bob. Cheerio.
Take care.